time. Can you see my screen?
Yes, yes, I can. Yeah,
All
definitely.
right. So for those who are not here, uh, join the first time, so I'll start over and give you a short introduction to the software that I have made, and this is basically an Excel-based software. So everyone who uses Excel, who can he or she can use this software, and I have made and name it as stock analysis and trend recognition stock analysis software. Once again, thank you very much, Wasim, for introducing you to the hard work you have done, and definitely it adds value, and we look forward to hearing more from you on this.
Thank you.
Again, let's get the disclaimer out of the way. Same disclaimer as Wasim mentioned that the material here is for education learning purposes only. The trading, investing in stocks and derivative future option is risky and could result in substantial loss. I'm also not a registered financial advisor, FINRA's SEC, or for any financial advice concerning your own financial condition, investment decision, please consult a registered financial advisor. So the agenda, the Wasim has taken the lead and started it. So I'm not going to introduce and welcome. We are all colleagues. For those who don't know me, and we are engineers by professions. We were in NED University around 35, 40 years ago. But slowly, I was very much interested here in investment when I did my master's in MBA 30 years ago in Houston. And since then, I have been researching more and more on investment. And after leaving my last job with an oil company, I have been fully invested and doing trading and tried everything like options, futures, or day trading, etc. If slowly we have developed a software on Excel, and the idea behind Excel is that almost all engineers and technical people they use this Microsoft Excel. And Microsoft has recently, 2 years ago, introduced stock prices in it, although those are 15 minutes delayed for US markets at the best. It could be even more. So there is a challenge because it's not about giving you a live data, but that's okay because if you're not just selling and trading at a high frequency like day traders, then obviously you don't need live data. 15 minutes delayed data is fine. And dollar cost averaging method is Wasim has already explained. We have made two earlier presentations. Here are the links available on YouTube, and this will also be recorded and shared with everyone, including the Wasim's presentation. So let's jump into the software. And before that, I would like to go to the stock selection process. Now, the software itself was developed with stocks in mind, but it could be equally be applicable to ETFs as well. So what we do, we consider the overall market conditions, like is it bullish, bearish, consolidating, what is the seasonality is telling us, and then select the leading stocks in leading sectors and industries only. So diversification is one thing, but it diversifies only in leading stocks and leading sector means targeting growth sectors. So what we do because of the software, you can analyze the performance of a given company or stock against its relative to its peers in the same industry. Like if you're in technology or semiconductors, then semiconductor industry. If you're in tech industry, computer manufacturers, mobile phone manufacturer, then you can compare it with their peers. And if one company is beating its peers in the same group, then it's a leader and it should come on our radar. We also should look into is it continuously showing strong earning growth and beating estimate. That's another key parameter we look at. And only those stocks are selected, those companies which are continuously improving their earning past earning every quarter, as well as also forecasting higher earnings going forward. Does the company has a new product, a new technology, a new drug in case of biotechs? Or new technology for me is AI is hot these days. If it has something new, then the growth potential is enormous. Like at time Tesla was new, at time Amazon was new, at time NVIDIA was new. So that's why there is a tremendous growth because investors see huge growth going forward, and that's why they are risking more and more money in that. What is the company saying about its future guidance? Is it going up? What is the competition? or is it going down? Is it consolidated? Company is merging or is investing or diversifying, etc. Another key factor is how the street views Wall Street, whether in general the big houses, people who have financial strength and muscles like Goldman, Goldman Sachs, Bank of America, Morgan Stanley, are they accumulating shares of these companies or they are distributing, means they are disposing it off? If these guys are accumulating shares of some companies, then eventually price will go up. And the topic which my colleague Wasim mentioned is about drawdowns, and that is about the sound risk management. How much money you can put at risk. My experience is that you should always aim for a high reward to risk. There is always a risk, there is always a reward. Minimum 2.5 to 3 times. And sound risk management means we should introduce tight stop losses, cut the losses very soon, and do not oversize. Do not put too much money in one ETF or one stock. So that is known as optimal position sizing. So there's a lot of wording I understand. So what does the software itself does is basically focus on the people who are Excel users and who want to analyze and invest in stock themselves. It's not for the day traders, for the live trading, but there is a full section for the day traders as well. In fact, the focus is on short-term and long-term trading goals. Short-term means 2 to 3 weeks to 1 month. Long-term means several months and onwards, could be a year or even more. It depends upon Excel. So all the stocks which are supported by Excel for US international markets are covered. But the software itself and my entire work is revolved around only on the US stocks, because for many other markets, either the data is not available completely or the stocks symbol changes very frequently. For example, there Indian market, the Excel can give you data about the Indian market, but we know very little about the Indian stocks and others. So we are totally focusing on US based stocks and those companies, European, Canadian companies, which also trade on US stock exchange. It gives you access to technical indicators, charts, analysis tools, trading signals, seasonality chart, etc. You can have multiple watch lists and spreadsheet. And we have also developed our own proprietary trend recognition indicator. That's a proprietary indicator that gives you when to enter and when to get out, these kind of signal and how strong is the trend. So let's jump into the software itself. So here's what software looks like, and I have already given it to a few people who have contributed it and who donated me some good amount of money. Thank you for all those people to develop this software. For example, it had different sheets. This is the main interface sheet, and any stock we can analyze here. For example, if you want to analyze Apple, I need to enter Apple here. It will download the data for Apple if it is not in its memory or storage, and then give you live data with the delay, as I said, of 15 minutes if the market is open. Otherwise, it's obviously Friday's data right now. So market, for example, Apple increased just 0.03%. This was its trading range. It closed here at this point. Some fundamental and basic information. What is this market cap, PE ratio, how much volume was traded. Key factor that Apple made 9 times new high during last 1 month. But on the right side, you see Apple's performance, this section here, which my cursor is moving around. So the 5 days Apple was negative 2.31% and 1 month is 5.47%. While the S&P is better off because S&P also includes banks, energy stocks, and others which are doing better than tech stocks at the moment. The tech sector itself is under pressure, so the last 1 month is not very good for tech sector and Apple and overall market. But if you go on towards the right, so the last 1 year it gives you 5.5%, 3 years 63%, and 5 years 240%. So Apple is beating overall market, which has given you just 58%. An ETF SPY, as Wasim mentioned. And the technology sector give you 129%. So in one snapshot, you can compare Apple's performance with respect to its sector, with respect to its overall market. And as we can say that Apple itself, for the last 3 or 5 years, is a leader. compared to broader market, compared to broader tech sector. It gives all the necessary information about what is Apple, how much will blah blah blah, when was his IPO started, how many employees, what industries it is active, what are the products. It has a menu here so that we can select any, choose the number of stocks here, and it will immediately, it will take some time, few seconds, to update the sheet. Towards the bottom left, if you are a technical guy, then there are a number of technical indicators that the traders and investors use. For example, MACD, you might have heard of relative strength, stochastics, and community challenge index, accumulation distribution index, relative rate of change, this kind of thing. It calculates quite a few indicators, around 25 of those indicators, not all shown here for the sake of limited space. It tells you based on these that these are the trading signals, short term, medium term, and long terms. So, for example, it's saying right now it's under pressure. As you can see from the chart, it's a candlestick chart, and you can zoom in and zoom out into the chart. So the Apple has fallen from something close to 200. Now it's in 170s, 175, around 12-13%. So
चल रहा है नहीं चल रहा? You want me to go?
Shahid, if you can
आ
mute
रहा?
yourself.
तुम चल रही हो तुम?
I
Okay,
should
ठीक.
mute Shahid. All right. Support resistance level, it calculates support resistance levels. There are different types of support resistance levels for the use by the day traders. So Apple, for example, is just 38% buy out of these 13 trading signals, which we have found out very useful for a trader to make decisions. Not only this, it also calculates you the profit and stop loss targets. For example, our suggested profit is around 20 to 25% minimum, with a risk to reward ratio of 1 to 3, and our suggested stop loss is around 7 to 8%. So it can tell you, okay, if you enter this price, this should be your stop loss price, and this should be your target range. And also some moving averages, and you can select the moving averages. Down there are different charts showing you the volume average, and you can select among those small charts like Bollinger Bands, PPO. It just depends on how much technical you are and what technical indicators you prefer to use. One very handy charts on your right is seasonality. Apple versus, now Apple is being compared with the broader market, SPY ETF. So you can see that August generally is a better month for Apple generally, but starting from the middle of August, Apple starts to struggle, and September is always for last 10 years, not always, 30% of time, it was better. It beat it S&P 500, but 70% of time it led the broader market. So these are the weaker months for the Apple and the tech sector. But what are the good months? October is a good month. March is a good month for last 10 years. You can switch the frequency to 5 years, and it will update the chart for 5 years. Now it's 5 years. So the July and June always been very good month. 100% of time Apple beat it S&P 500 during the month of July. So for the example, the best time to invest in Apple is either in January or in early June and July and August. These 3 or 4 months are the best time. And then you can remain investing, then come out of that. So the software right here in Excel give you all this kind of information, including this trading signals. Any questions on that? Because I know it's a bit complicated for the people who are looking at the first time. Any questions around that?
When should we get into Apple now based on this indicator, Sabri?
Okay.
Where is the support?
We'll talk about the support 1 second. Seasonality point of view, we should get back somewhere in October or December. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And from the support point of view, you have to take a broader look. Now this is daily, and I have to take maybe a weekly chart.
Yeah, take a weekly snapshot.
And update the chart for the weekly. Now it's daily again. Let me convert it to weekly. All right. I will go forward your question for a while. We'll come back to it. Because one chart, I think, cannot explain the entire thing. For example, my own indicator is telling me TR indicator that Apple is a neutral seller this time. And this is a weekly chart. It tells you that last week it gives a sell signal. Correct? This down bar. So this is not the time to re-enter. If we take a look at the Apple's chart and update it again, this is Apple's different chart explaining my proprietary trend recognition. So the best time, according to the strategy which I have developed here. Now, what is first of all, this trend recognition indicator? It is based on a number of indicators. Calculates indicators something around from 10 to 15 other indicators and come up with this solution. So whenever you see this solid green, it means a solid momentum towards the up direction it has started. Whenever it crosses on the weekly chart, this 20-period line and is out of this green, that's not the right time. So when is the best time to answer your question? When you see this triangle, this is the start of a new trend, Wasim. Correct? But normally the stocks pull back to its mean averages, especially in the terms of weekly pullbacks to this red line. And that is the time, as you see, it comes in here, pull back, come here, pull back. Now, question is whether it will come down all the way to this. I don't know. Nobody knows exactly. The best time will be when it comes down, right? This section, this, and then it again you get this signal from the trend recognition indicator, this point. So wait for that time. As far as Apple is concerned, for example, when you get this signal in past, and if you enter here, look at how much growth it has shown after that, from around 50 to 75, 50% growth. Then when again you come down, the green signal, green zone ends, you get this signal, that means it's time to get out. Especially when you get this red zone, it means stock is under distribution. It is either struggling or in the near future, it will not come back. It took a long time to come back, a year or more than that. So to answer your question, we need to wait till we get this kind of signal. The stock bounces back and then gets support again on this line and then moves forward. That's the point as far as Apple is concerned. See, at this point, if you happen to get this thing done, indicator giving signal here, you enter here, for example, on 27th of April 2020, price was 72. And then you can keep on having this without any struggle unless you hit this thing, because you don't know whether it will go down or up. And then you were, for example, you had at that point 125, so from 72 to 125. That is a gain of 60 to 70% in less than a year. So that was the right time. All right. So this is a combination of things. You can have a traditional trading signals based on the technical indicators which are prevalent in the market, and you can couple this with this TR indicator, which is trend recognition indicator. Now, what I have done, I have added a back test facility. This is the menu here, and we can run back tests on Apple on different frequency, that up to a maximum of 5 years. I will increase it to 10 years pretty soon. So for example, it was no, it was Tesla and okay, so for example, Apple 5 years weekly. Let's run a back test on it. We are done. The back test is done, and these results are showing Apple's weekly results for last 5 years, and these are the trades it is telling you, and it is giving you the trades in both directions, short as well as long. Now you might want to just restrict yourself to the long only, but you're using this strategy. And what is the strategy? I will come back to you and explain it. The Apple give you $1 become 2.61, 161% return in 5 years. Okay, on the weekly charts. If you just follow these signals, but
how much you said? Sorry, I didn't.
161%.
161. Okay.
$1 becomes 2.61.
Oh,
right here. The 161% return.
Yeah, okay, good.
Okay, in 5 years, just following these signals. And how many signals you followed? In 5 years, only 18. Because you were looking at weekly charts. So just 18 times you did this trading in both directions, short and long, during last 5 years in one stock, and that's manageable for people who are involved and busy in their daytime job. 18 times in 5 years means 3 or 4 times a year. That's it. But you can use this. For example, if you are here at this point, you enter, and the stock comes down here. Now, the strategy here, this software will give you an exit signal, close date, as soon as it senses that it is coming down on this line. But you say, okay, I have plenty of margin for Apple here, right? I came here, I am here. So even I can sustain 10 or 5 or 10 more percent. Maybe this is support level. This is another support, whether it bounce twice. So I can give more margin. So you can reduce the number of trades. And then the stock went back and went all the way up to this position. And as soon as you get this signal right here, so in other words, having a more, I mean, depending upon your risk appetite, if you can digest this kind of heavy drawdowns, or you have the trust in the stocks, like it's Apple, you know its past performance, you know its products, you know its fundamental, then you're going to still wait because you're a long-term investor. And as soon as you find this kind of behavior, then it's time to get out. I would not recommend anyone to be there when the signal is either red or orange. That means the stock is struggling, and it can struggle a lot, and it can come down a lot. Just don't trust market on this. So in this way, this particular indicator can help you a lot by giving you buy and sell signal, entry and exit signal at the right time for almost every stock. But it's not as limited to this. For example, if you have a multiple list of stock, just not Apple, you have, for example, this 10, 15 stocks which are tech sector, which are some other, which are, for example, other, some other, for example, from energy sector, and you want to maintain their different watch list and list. So this particular sheet, the second sheet, you can compare all of those stocks in one table. All you need to do is just press this button or this get table info, and the software will calculate all this data and fields for every stock. Here they were in much more depth and details for one particular stock like Apple, the charting and other. Here it is a summarized tabular form of all this stuff. Like what was its volume, how much was its performance like 5 days, 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, 53 months. It also gives you a mini chart that how did it perform during last 1 year or whatever the period was chosen for the mini chart. And then it also gives you the status of the trend indicator, our own trend. But these are now right now the market is struggling. So for example, Apple is in a strong sell on the daily basis. Microsoft is in a strong sell. Google is neutral buy, is still performing well. You see, Google's performance last 5 days is still positive, last 1 month is still positive 10%. So Google is performing for the timing better than other stocks. And then it tells you, okay, these are the new signals. For example, Marvel and Nvidia have given you sell signal based on the daily chart and trend TR indicator, our own indicator. You can further go back here. And for example, what was that? Tesla? You look at the Tesla, update this thing. And now it's daily, it's weekly. The Tesla is also struggling for the time being, but I want its daily chart. And here's the daily chart. As you can see, this the yellow version has started. It means and it just started on last Friday. That's why in this table, this give you this arrow right here. No, it was not Friday. It could be Thursday. Marvel was given an arrow on Friday. So it's telling you that this is a new trend which has started in case of Marvel and RVL. In case of Nvidia, it has given you a new signal. And you're not limited to only these fields. You can compare from a number of other, almost 50 different indicators which are given here, and you can select these which are shown here. So that you can have moving averages, industry description, and other parameters as well. And you can have multiple sheet and multiple watch lists as well. So in one go, you want to go stock. What this does, Excel will download data for all of these stocks, and it might take a while, a minute or two to go through all these 100 stocks or 50 stocks, 10 stocks. You're not going to break up into small list, which makes more sense. Not only this, for example, you also want to compare performance of 5 or 6 more. Let's say we want to compare Nvidia with Microsoft, Apple, Meta, which is Facebook, and Tesla. And you want to compare the performance of these stocks. Now it's downloading the data for all these 5, and it will plot a chart. On Sunday, sometime I've seen that their Microsoft servers are slow. It takes a long time to update this thing. And it should give you a chart for Nvidia and this. So for the time being, I think it's stuck somewhere. Anyway, so that's how it works. And it gives you all the required information in this one go. Guys, looks like my system has hanged. Not a good time to hang, but I can restart it. Give me a second. Sorry about that. Okay. The system is still undergoing. Okay, so giving some error. I think the software was not updated. Sorry, the Excel had some problem at the back end. Sometimes it happened during the weekend, because Excel probably goes through and they have a third party who maintain this data for them. Now coming back to the software again. So what I have done, I have run this same chart, TR indicator, for Tesla, let's say. So for the Tesla on the daily basis, if you adopt this chart, on the back test, it gives you 108 trading signals, correct? But that's a period of over 5 years. 5 years. So it still is manageable. 100 in 5 years means something around 4 to 5. 20, approximately 20 to 25 trading signals in a year, which means 2 in a month. Not that bad. But look at the result of adopting this strategy in and out. That just for the following Tesla, and the last signal, last trade is still open, it gives you a return of 3,365. Sorry, 3,265%, which means that $1 has become $33.65 without taking into effect of any tax.
Wow,
Yes.
that's amazing, Sabri.
Sorry?
That's amazing, I'm saying. But how would we know at its infancy that Tesla is going to become a Tesla?
That's a great question. As you said, nobody knows about the future, correct?
Yeah.
You need to, if you are watching a number of stock or baskets and you text that function to radar, then you have to get that thing at this point, as I said, when it's crossing this thing and it gives you a green signal. For example, forget about Tesla if it's giving you a signal here. It gives you a signal here at this point. It's a green arrow, and it gives you a 38.41. What was the date? 15th of April. 3 years down the road, you are still at from 38 to 291. So how much is your gain 3 years down the road? It is still more than 1,000% probably, or less than 1,000, maybe 700 or 800%. So you need to have this kind of watch list. Now, how do the watch lists come into? How do you know these? If your question is, so when I'm going to commercially launch it, what I'm planning to, that okay, what we will do, that we will having every week kind of a stock picks, highlighting the stock that meeting the criteria and meeting our criteria of strong earnings performance and accumulation and distribution by the Wall Street, just like explained earlier. And we will give a list of these stocks for your analysis and possible further action. And we will also give these signals. So for example, if we have a list of stock of 10, 15, and we get a new signal for Tesla here, that is a buy. At this point, let's clear up the chart and make it a weekly chart for the time being. So it's better to look into it. For example, we get this signal here. As I explained, strategy says let the stock come back, test its moving averages, and then rise again. And then you have a stronger chances. So if we are following in our list, it will give us this signal right here. That's the time to act. But that does not mean just go and jump the gun. Wait for a slightly better time if you want. If you are, and this should be your, again, your stop loss within the limit 7%. So that's how you, from those lists, you monitor those stocks and let the software, if you run it daily basis, or if you subscribe to our service, which we are going to launch in future, that it will give you signals. And then you will get those signals, hopefully on timely basis, to catch a stock. Now, it does not mean that if we catch a stock here, then it will always perform like that. It can again fail, like in this particular scenario, it came down. In this particular scenario, it came down, but it again came back, and it made up the difference. That's why some of the trades ended up in losses, like -4%, -5%. And one of the strategy I explained earlier was that tight stop losses. So what exactly is our strategy? That we should consider entering after a first stage signal, long short. What is the first stage signal? As I explained here, this triangle when the trend is starting. And then we should wait for a bounce of stock. Let the stock, because at times stock is extended. You can get a signal here, but it is extended from this key line. So let it come down here. See if it bounces. Here it does not bounce, so you're not going to make any entry. Correct? Here it bounces. We might want to make an entry, but again we ended up in a loss. But here we did not. Because you will give stock some room. Maybe this is your 7, 8, 10%. This is your last, and this is a strong stock based on its performance. So you trust the stock, okay, if it gets support here, these are your support levels. And this comes with experience. Now, have I answered your question, Rosie?
Yeah.
Thank you. So what I've done, I have run this on some of the ETF, which Wasim mentioned, like triple leverage TQQ. And summarize the same backtest results in this sheet. So the TQQ, if we just run it 1 year with a weekly, it gives you 83% return with only 4 trades. 3 were on short side, correct? Now you might want to, for any reason, you say because the market was struggling and coming down last year, during 2022, it did not make sense to go long. Therefore, the signal was telling you. Let's go and see the TQQ chart, and that will tell you what happened during last year. So while the chart being updated, it will tell you that it will give you areas like this. Here you go. So this is to end of 2021. This is. Do you think that the chart and the system is telling you to go long? No, because the strategy says wait for these gain areas and wait for the bounce. But you are under this red area, which is a sell signal here. You're in the orange signal, orange area, which is a sell signal. This is a strong sell. This is a normal sell. So the chart will, the strategy and the system will not let you go long here. Although the first stage because sensing that there might be a start of trend here. But that's why it did not choose any long trade during last 1 year. It only did when it crossed it and you get the signal. That was the start of a long signal. So as far as the timing is concerned, good time is concerned, depending upon this indicator, you can get good timing, like after this thing, after this, after this, after this. All of these signals are on long side. Not one of them is on the short side. So there was no short during after the COVID when the market bounced back, April 2020 till this time. Everything was green, everything was, but obviously market can come down, market is testing. So the way this strategy was developed, there's two things. One is the indicator and one is the strategy. Now I am being a more conservative investor. Every time it comes down here, my strategies, according to my strategy, I will pull out because I don't know whether it's going to go further down or up. But if I am a risk taker, I can give it more space and wait till I get this orange or red area. The only problem is that until that time, you will have some period drawdowns. So the strategy also tells you to get some lock in some profit after a 20 to 25% run. And once you are in profit 10 to 15%, then do not let the stock go back and give you a loss. Just get out. And then again, tight stop loss. The maximum this strategy is incorporating is 7% loss at the entry point. For example, if you make an entry here, 7% loss or at this point. Now, as you are going up, system is telling you, okay, you are having green, you have intermittent neutral area, but you're still overall green. Then you can trailing the stop and you can increase your stop loss so that you trail this system's performance. Coming back to TQQ. So we run some back tests on TQQ. In 1 year, it gave you 83%, and almost all of them were on this 51% on this long side, and 25% on short, 28%. If we change the frequency to 5 years on the weekly basis, then we get something around 500% return in 5 years on TQQ. What it is telling you that $1 invested 5 years ago became $5.98 by just having these 19 trades over a course of 5 years, which is quite manageable. All you did because you don't have time. So you are managing it. Now you say, I don't want this short side, I just want long side. Obviously your return will go down, but you can do that. So if you go to this backtest settings and it open up a small window, let's remove the short trades, save it, and go back and run again. Then it will take out all the short. And right now the total return was 33.65, for which Tesla stock, but I am running this TQQ. So let's run the back test. It will run it for the TQQ for the time being. And here it goes. 5 years. It's only long left now. So remember we had 5.98, which is 498% or 500% approximately 5 years, including both long and short. But right now, just limiting to ourselves to long only, the profit was reduced to 3.73 or 273%. It's your choice. You want to avoid short, go long, here's the return. So it will not include any trade during this particular area. So we further back tested the triple Q leverage, Nasdaq triple Q ETF for 1 year. Daily return was only 13% because there were too many shorts and long. It was only 13%. So the strategy lagged the overall market. For the 5 years, it gave you a return of 600% on a daily basis. Maybe these are too many. Maybe you want to restrict yourself to long only. Then go for the weekly one, depending upon your appetite, the time you have. Same repeated for Tesla. Daily 1 year Tesla, it says 21. Give you a 89% return so far, last 1 year. If I change to weekly, it gives you only 18%. So Tesla was more profitable on daily basis. But if I go to 3 years, Tesla gave me 41%. But if I go to 5 years, the weekly gave me 834%. It depends upon your, again, the dollar cost averaging for a long term. So for the 5 years weekly, it's not dollar cost averaging, by the way, because it's just asking you to close the trade as soon as you get that sell signal. Entry signal, sell signal, entry signal, sell signal. You still get 834% from Tesla based on this 5 years performance. But if you change to the daily time frame, then obviously the number of trades will go up. Now you end up in 108. The result is amazing, 33.65, which is 3,265% return just for 5 years. I need to modify this to include the 10 years time frame as well. In addition to that, here we have some information for support and resistance level. Wasim, to answer your question, these are the support and resistance levels. Like for example, Apple, you might want to have a support around 20 period or 50 period moving average line, or support resistance based on the Fibonacci and other classic pivot points. There are different methods. We're not going into details of this method, but the software also prepare a daily trading guide for you. This is a new edition, Wasim. Probably you don't have it, the one that I provided to you.
Yeah.
So it gives you, for example, if you're a day trader and it's tomorrow's date, like Monday, it is telling you where are the different levels. Current price is 39.09 as far as TQQ is concerned. These are its resistance level. These are its key levels where it might either still get support or resistance. These are the moving averages. And you can choose which one you want and which one, for example, you say there's too many. I just want pivot point. I just want moving averages. You can do that. Check out whatever you want from, you don't want from there. So that's how the software works. It gives you details on the individual stocks. It lets you compare among the table of stocks. It gives you a proprietary trend recognition indicator. The backtest results are there, and then it's a screen. This is a screen. So for example, if you have a list of stocks which you are monitoring, you can bring all those stocks here in this chart here and ask the system to run a screener. Do you want to know where does the trend recognition indicator lie at the moment when it comes to daily or the weekly chart? And then you can run the screener. It will take a while because you'll go one by one, calculate the trading screener for each and every of the stock, in both time frames, daily and weekly. So it's giving you progress here, 7% and 10% and whatever. Meanwhile, I can answer any question if there are. Anyone? I think Wasim Bahisab has left. And any question from anyone on this indicator or?
Hello, Sabri.
Yes, who is this? Farooq.
This is Farooq.
Yeah, Farooq.
So yeah, maybe I don't have a question about your software, but I have a question about your general trend. That it's that you are analyzing on the basis of market outputs and market trends. Do you look into the inside of the industry itself to forecast that a change is coming that will affect its stock status, things like that?
Okay.
Because you are analyzing the results and making forecasts, right?
Great question. There are two components to it. This particular software right here is taking into account technical indicators, charts, and parameters. This is more technical stuff, correct?
Yeah.
But our overall strategy, as I mentioned here, that is more kind of a descriptive thing, that you analyze industry like a strong earning performance, stock which are consistently beating your earning growth. stocks which are being accumulated by Wall Street. And this thing right here. Select the leading stock and leading sector and industries. This is where we compare it with its peers and the industry. And that's how we select. So that's a more descriptive thing. Once we have a list of these stocks, for example, these stocks here. So how this list has come into existence? Because these stocks have a history of beating outperforming others in their respective industries as well as in their respective sectors. And they also have a history of beating their earning estimates quarter by quarter for last 3 years. That's why they are here. So as part of when I will launch this professionally, commercially, then we will have these kind of for each, for example, here on a weekly basis, we will have these kind of discussions. We'll have a list of stocks, why we have picked these stocks, what is going on with the industry and the stock company itself. Does it have some new products? Is it showing strong earnings? Is it in our list of strong earning performers? Is Wall Street accumulating it or distributing it? That is more kind of an ongoing thing rather than a technical analysis. The software itself is taking into account its past performance and taking into account all these technical indicators to develop these kind of signals. All right?
Yeah. So, and another thing is that how do you take into account the political, things that affects the market,
Well,
political
politics is
and
something
socio-economical.
that is totally unpredictable. Geopolitics. You don't know what is going on. What will be going on in Ukraine, for example. You don't know what is going on between China and USA on Taiwan. So very honestly, I mean, anything can happen tomorrow. For example, God forbid, there is a war between India and Pakistan tomorrow. What do you think that stocks will do? All companies, everything will be disturbed, right? So there is no way that you can predict those. There is no way. So honestly, you don't look at politics. What you do look at is there's a major event, like COVID was a major event, like European war or a big scale war, large scale war. It could be a big event. In that case, you go through the analysis of different analysts and big houses and see what they think about overall market direction. Because no one person is an expert when it comes to politics and geopolitics. And very honestly, I think most of the time it's garbage. I mean, no matter what politics does, no matter which president comes, no matter, performance is that S&P gives you 8 to 10% market every year. That's average performance. And the 5 years, it was 58%. And you have shown a lot of political episodes during last 5 years, including your Trump was there, including presidential elections, switchover of powers, and tension between China and USA, whatsoever. So this honestly out of scope politics. But you definitely take into account when making investment decisions for the long term, not for the short term. Of what Wall Street is overall doing? Are they accumulating or distributing? If the Wall Street is distributing, is disposing of tech sector, there's no way that you should remain there. Because those guys over there who are professionals, who have a lot of experience, they forecast down the road 3-6 months down the road, so 1 year down the road, situation is going to be bad for these companies. That's why they are slowly disposing it off. And they don't dispose of stocks once in a while. Like they don't sell 5 or 10 million share like at the opening bell in the morning. They don't do that. They do it slowly, a period of few days or weeks. So that's why how the pattern shifts. Okay.
All right. Yeah.
All right. Any
Okay.
further question?
Yes, Sabri, this is Faisal.
Yes, sir.
Yes, just you showed a screen relating to the day trading. So just my question is, let's say if I'm interested in the about the day trading.
This one.
Yes, this one. Yes, yes.
Daily
So
guide, day
let's
trading guide.
yes. So let's say if my goal is to be a day trader for, let's say, Tesla shares for that day, and I'm just focusing on the Tesla throughout the day. So is your this software is taking into consideration volumes, changes up and downs in the price movements and other stuff, all these changes taking is this
Software,
updating the
let
software?
me show you what the software does.
Yes.
What things it is accounting. Day trading, it taking into account these things: pivot points, high low close, Fibonacci high lows, moving averages, standard deviation, relative strength, not the volume itself. Because the volume, you don't know at one particular day in the volume at 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. You don't know what's the volume going to be overall for the whole day.
Okay.
It could be just 10-20% at that time.
Hmm.
So these are the factors that it takes into account. Pivot points, high low close deviation, high lows, Fibonacci tree line, moving averages, standard deviation, relative strength, RSIs. Okay, and you can select or unselect any of these. For example, you said I don't want moving averages, I don't want standard deviation, I just want pivot points and high low close of last working day. Okay, this. All right, save this. This day trade guide will be updated, and now only a few levels will come up. As you selected, only few levels, pivot points only, and last prices, right?
Okay, so this will be available at the start of the day, not in the middle or some at other interval or time.
It is available anytime in the day, anytime in the
Okay.
day, because the data it takes also includes current data with a 15 minutes delay. So it will update it, but technically, at the end of the day, you should run it, and then you have it ready for the next day. Because if
Okay.
anything minor change, there are minor changes here in a day, it's not going to affect it in a major way. You should stick to one trading guide early in the morning. If you're using it, it's just a guide. It does not mean that Tesla is, what is this? Triple Q, T triple Q. That whenever they come here, it will come down. It doesn't mean that. There are a lot of forces acting on market. When the market is strong, it will pass pivot point resistance levels, but these are the levels that you think it should give it some resistance, and it happens. It will give, if the market is too strong, it will bounce back, go back and forth, and eventually it will surpass this level, or eventually it will drop below these levels. But these will definitely provide some support and resistance levels from my experience of day trading. And if you want, you can include as many levels. If you trust moving averages, standard deviation basically means Bollinger Bands. Then you can have all of these things, and the day trading guides will have all of this. This is relatively a new feature. Okay.
Okay.
So my goal is to launch this thing pretty soon. I have added. Wasim will probably second me on that I have added quite a few features during the course of the last 2 months, like this back testing, daily guide is not there, more indicators, charting, etc. And now, once we have it, so we'll also couple it with its weekly commentary, stock picks, which our Skinner will provide, and updated list of strong earning performers, accumulation distribution list, and free upgrades if you subscribe to our service annually, and blogs, and whatever we can have. Whatever I could have thought so far, I have included, but obviously there's always a room for improvement. There's a lot of things that can come. And finally, if you want to have it, you want to support me, because I'm fully working on this 100% time. It's still 2-3 months to go. So this is my email. You can. I have not set a set price. My annual price that I have in my mind is $99 to $150. This is a close group of, and some of you have already contributed it. Thanks to all of those you guys, and anyone who can donate me some money towards my project launching goal, I would appreciate that. And I will give them the beta version, which is a trial version at this time, which I'm showing to you. with a almost now 34 pages user guide at this time, and will also give you a 1 year subscription whenever it is commercially launched from that point onwards. And if you want to support me on that, you can either Zelle me or PayPal me using my email address. So here is the thing. If you are interested, or you any comment, feedback, suggestions on this, do you like this software? Yes or no? Anything you'd like to have more? Any feedback, any questions? Nothing? Wasim, Faisal,
No.
Carlo, thank you very much. Bhai. Some
No,
people have
thanks,
left.
nothing.
Shahid is still there. Mansur Saab, Masood. I think there's only 9, but
I don't have any questions, but a comment that for the people who are here, you can see the variety of ways you can play the market. There is so much
Yeah.
to do. Yeah.
I
Then-
believe this is crux of this software, the TR indicator, because this particular thing can really guide you
yeah.
when market is struggling. Is it time to remain there? Is it time to go short? Is it time to, I mean, strategies, for example, is my own, but you can develop your own strategy. Hey, the 7% loss figure is not appropriate for me. I will only enter when I see a green zone, solid green zone, not the light green zone. And I don't want short. I want short only, or I want long only. My experience is that the market itself in the long term, the short is very, very risky. That's how the dollar cost averaging works, because every time it comes down, it bounces back. If that's it, then that's pretty much it. You can contact me on my email if you want. If you have any other question, I would be glad to answer your question.
Yeah.
And
Okay, can I get the
Wasim,
name?
I'm sorry, I have given a number. Wasim Wahi Faisal, I think is your friend. There's no, yeah, there is a WhatsApp group. Amir Aziz and Wasim has found. I don't know whether they can make our people who are not part of our NAD. I think they can, right?
Yeah, I
So
think.
Wasim, you see the number in the chat. You can add this gentleman, Wasim Wahi, to that group.
Okay, yeah, I can.
Please do
So
that.
I'm saying that can we get this latest one?
Sure, no
Sabu?
problem, no problem. No problem. I will send you the latest one because you have already donated earlier. I
Yeah.
remember that. No,
And
no
then
problem.
this
I will send you the latest
10
one.
years. Can we back test 10 years?
Not at the moment. I have to modify the code to handle the
Okay.
10 years of data. It is handling
Oh,
only up to 5 years, but I think it will be good to have at least 10 years. It does take into account 20 years only for seasonality,
okay.
not on the daily, because that will be too much of data to handle for each
Yeah.
particular stuff. This is month wise, 20 up to 20 years for seasonality. But apart from that, it only takes 5 years on daily basis or weekly basis. So as soon as that will come, I will definitely give you. But it's a lot of work needs to be done from moving from 5 years to 10 years.
Yeah.
All
Okay.
right.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. If that's pretty much it, then let's call it a day. I thank everyone, including Wasim, for his wonderful presentation. And for all of you guys, your time, and if you think that it's worth it, please contact me.
Sure.
And
Sure. One more thing, Sabi, just you used to say there will be a 25-page guideline also for this software. So,
It's
so
ready.
this will give you the beginners just an update or
No,
about
no,
as a
whoever
beginner.
who is donating, I give them this guide immediately.
Oh,
So you
sure.
can up and
Okay.
running. Here is the guide. This is a Word document. And actually it's
Okay.
not 25, it's 34 pages. Because there are a lot of things here, it's troubleshooting, errors, and I try to make it as comprehensive I can. Because it will be
Okay.
going beyond my friend circles to general market, and people obviously customers when they pay money, they would like to have something quick, like if they're troubleshooting their error, they should go and find what kind of error system gives. So these are the error the system gives, what does it mean, how to resolve that, and things like that. I've tried to incorporate everything. It's still in draft mode, and they are also, like you asked about, there's a chapter on the daily guide. What is daily guide? How to adjust things, some useful tips, because it is in Excel. So now the advantage of here is that you can use all the Excel function right here. You can copy the worksheet, you can add your formula, but it will disturb the setup here. So I have, and that can disturb the worksheet and the code. And you have the menus here up there on the custom ribbon right there. So you can add as many watch list tables you want. And you can use Excel, for example, you want to draw some drawings here, lines here. So you can draw using Excel shapes. For example, Excel shapes, and you want to draw an arrow line. Hey, this is arrow. Okay, there you go. All right. So you can use Excel features to work on the worksheets and your own data.
Okay, fine.
So this guide comes with it immediately. In its current state, whatever it is, this is a draft or whatever, it comes in this. Okay, dear, so thank you very much. I appreciate everyone. Masih bhai, Wasim, other people. And if you have any further question, please contact me direct. No problem at all. And thank you,
Thank
Wasim,
you.
again. And thank you, Shahid, for arranging a
Okay,
wonderful-
Sabi, can you show me the page on which you have a email or yes, sure. Please.
In my email, right here. It's my email.
Yes.
If you want, I don't know in Saudi Arabia, but you obviously PayPal works in Saudi Arabia, I think, as well. Or did you want to-
Yes, that's I will explore. Otherwise, I will contact you for
No
some other
problem, no
option.
problem. You can contact me through WhatsApp or email.
Okay, sure.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And have a great weekend, whatever is left of the weekend. And see you next time. Hopefully.
ठीक है चलो
You take
Thank you,
care.
Sabri.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
Okay.
Bye bye.
अल्लाह हाफ़िज़।
Love you.
So you can end the meeting.